Welcome to Real Truth Real Quick. My name is Rick Smith. I'm here with Todd Wagner. How you doing, Todd?
I'm doing okay.
Well, we got a good one today. This is a theology question, really. And so the question goes like this, and there's a scriptural question here. Is it ever okay to lie? And the person in this question said, if not, or if so, what about Joshua 2 with Rahab saying she doesn't know where the spies are and she knew where the spies are?
Yeah. And what about Exodus 1, which is when the Hebrew midwives were told by Pharaoh to kill the Hebrew babies if they were a male. And they specifically said there that, hey, the Hebrew women are strong and not like the Egyptian women. And so by the time we get there, the babies are already born and, in effect, they're hidden.
Or your wife says, does this dress look good on me?
Yeah, and it even goes further in Exodus chapter 1. I heard you. But in Exodus chapter 1, it even says that God blessed the Hebrews and the midwives and gave them a great name and in fact, gave them fertility and family. So it looks like God blessed lying. Well, first of all, we don't know in Exodus 1 if they actually lied. They may have just gone slower or in some way managed their answer so it wasn't a direct lie. But Joshua 2, the example in the question, there is an example there of Rahab clearly lying. And some people have said, well, surely if she hadn't lied, the spies would have been destroyed. That's assuming something. And I get it. We are talking here about extreme situations. And so this really turns into a big philosophical discussion. A buddy of mine does like to say that I think God's a whole lot less philosophical on this than we are. But there isn't any way that you can come at this from a biblical perspective and say that lying is permitted by Scripture. Okay? Does God always have horrible consequences come to everybody as soon as they lie? Well, there's two examples, Joshua 2, Exodus 1, where he didn't at all. It seems that he blessed them, okay? But he doesn't venerate them. He doesn't say, now there's an example for you to follow. What we do know, one of the Big Ten says that you should not bear false witness against your neighbor. Now that one might be one where people would still get around this by saying, well, in Exodus 20, verse 16, where it says that, it's saying, I shouldn't lie about something you did in order to falsely get you prosecuted. But that doesn't mean that there's not a time that I can lie, okay, commit a lesser evil to keep you from doing a greater evil. See also, hey, if there are, Israeli spies in here, we're going to kill them. Where are they? And so your greater evil would be killing them. My lesser evil would be lying to protect them. That is what you would call an ends justifying the means. It's Machiavellian. In other words, we know that the end result, to preserve the Israeli spies, is something that God would want us to do. Therefore, I've got to do something God doesn't want me to do in order to allow it to happen. I can't support that biblically. Leviticus 19:11 specifically says you don't steal, you don't deal falsely, nor do you lie to one another. There, it's not lying about you, it's just lying to you. In the New Testament, it's Colossians 3:9, when it's talking about what we do as God's people, it says, don't lie to one another. Why? Since you laid aside your old self with its evil practices. Okay? All right, very quickly. All the stories that people give you are that, okay, there's a guy at our house, he wants to do harm to you, your wife, and your kids. He shows up and says, where are they? I'm going to go throw myself on them physically or kill them. What do you do in that situation? Well, let's just go back to this really happening to somebody. Corrie ten Boom, who in Nazi Germany, a Dutch Christian, they were hiding and harboring Jews. Corrie had two sisters, Betsy and another sister we don't know much about named Nolly. There was actually a time when Nolly had told her kids, we don't lie, God will protect us. Nolly had a little phrase, which is God honors truth-telling with perfect perfection. And I got to tell you, I agree with Nolly. Now that doesn't mean, I'm going to tell you the story about Nolly in just a second. That doesn't mean, however, that the perfect protection will always end up with you not going to a concentration camp or getting shot there in that moment. Am I going to judge you and put you through church discipline if there's a guy at your door with a gun, says, where's your wife? I'm going to kill her if I can tell her. And you tell a little white lie or just look to the face, oh, she's not here. She just ran out to get something. Look, we're all going to understand in that moment what you're doing, okay? There's a human response there. But I will tell you, I do believe that God, even if your wife is murdered, even if you're murdered, your head's cut off because you don't deny God, okay, by saying what ISIS wants you to say, God will perfectly protect you and deliver you. Maybe not in this earth in the way that you want, but like it says in Philippians, it says, your confidence in God is a sign of destruction for them and salvation for you. Because to live is Christ, to die is gain. Nolly was one who did not lie. In fact, she kind of put the whole family at risk one time when the Germans were there and they had seen some Jewish people run into the house. They hid them underneath their table in a potato cellar, okay? And they had what's it called when you put something over a table, Rick? A tablecloth.
Yeah, there you go.
Brilliant, isn't it?
Easy for you to say.
Yeah, easy for me. But and so the German said, "Where are they?" And Nolly's daughter, who was taught to always tell the truth, said, "They're under the table." And so they lifted up the tablecloth, and they didn't see, obviously, that there was a way to get down to the potato cellar underneath it. And the Germans thought that they were just jerking around with them. And when the Germans left and didn't find them, the rest of the family was, "Nolly, what's that? You can't keep telling the truth all the time." And she said, "God honors truth-telling with perfect protection." All that to say, Rick, if you're asking me, okay, I believe God is able to save the Israeli spies and the Hebrew children if we look Pharaoh in the eye and say, "I'm not going to do that." Here's Acts 5. It is better to honor God than man. And so if you tell me, okay, that I've got to bow to your idol or kill Hebrew children or I'm going to die, you do what you need to do. All right, my God's able to protect me whether he will or not. In this life, I know he will protect me ultimately. So I'm not going to fear you. I'm going to fear God, not man. And I believe in that moment, I'm not going to deny, okay? I don't need to deny truth to honor God.
Well, thanks for sharing that, but I'm going to make you go back and answer the question that I asked you in the beginning. The wife says, "Hey, do you like this dress? Do you like my hair?"
Look,
you don't.
It's how easy. Oh, my wife?
Yeah, your wife.
Okay.
Or my wife says, "Hey,
So-
do you like my hair?"
All right, I'll answer that question.
No,
even
babe, I
though, even
don't.
though we're 7 minutes into this. My wife isn't asking me if I really like it. What my wife is asking me when she asks that question is, "Hey, do you love me? I'm insecure about the way that I look. I need to be reassured by you that you care for me and that you honor me and that you think I'm beautiful all the time." Okay? So I'm going to let my wife know that. All right? Now, there's going to be a time when I'm going to go, "Look, I've seen other dresses that might be more flattering, but sweetie, here's what you need to know." Okay? And what guys need to understand when a woman's asking that, they're not even asking about the dress. Okay? They're asking about how am I in my dignity, my honor, my value before you, even when I look like this? Or I hope this does make me attractive to you, but that's not really, she's not even asking that question. So you answer what she's after, all right? If she wants to know objectively, should I buy this dress or that dress? Tell her which dress you think, but then remind her you love her, whatever she's doing.
Good stuff. Listen, you got a double-decker. You got the lying and you got some dating tips there all in one.
Not dating, marriage
tips. There you go.
Right?
We'll see you next week on Real Truth Real Quick.